If you have ever visited the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, you are bound to have noticed a short ladder resting on a second-story window ledge. You can also see it in century-old photographs and art in the exact same position it is today. On the surface, the ladder bears testimony to the disunity of Israel's Christian community. But scratch the surface, and the ladder becomes a symbol of something altogether different, a story of endurance. There are many legends concerning the origins of this immovable ladder, but the general agreement is that the ladder was placed there by the Armenians in the early 19th century. In 1852, the Ottoman Sultan enforced the status quo, a rigid division of rights and property between the church's 6 competing denominations. With the status quo, which is still enforced today, every stair, icon, and corner and every menial chore has a designated custodian that possessively guards their turf and their privileges. Under the status quo, no part of the designated common ground can be changed even slightly without the consent of all the denominations. Windows and ledges fell under common ground, leaving the ladder untouched until the religious orders agree, for the sake of the church facade, on moving the eyesore. Another example of denominational rivalry at this holy shrine is the 12-inch iron key that controls the church's single entrance. For the past 816 years, the owners of this key have been 2 neighboring Muslim families. These families meet at an exact time twice a day with the key in hand to lock and unlock the massive wooden doors. The church can only be locked from the outside. This arrangement was originally assigned by Saladin in 1192. By allowing a neutral party to assume control of the key, the Sultan hoped to bring peace between the jealous factions, whose disputes commonly turned violent. As the Church of the Holy Sepulchre vividly demonstrates, talking about the indigenous Christians of Israel is hardly referring to a monolithic group. They neither speak with one voice nor act as one movement. Israel's Christians maintain a strong degree of heterogeneity along ethnic, cultural, and denominational lines. The Christians of Israel, consisting of at least 20 ancient churches and 30 Protestant denominational groups, are a microcosm of Christianity at large. Christians constitute 2.1% of Israel's total population, putting their numbers around 148,000. This statistic does not include Christians under the rule of the Palestinian Authority in Judea and Samaria. The great majority, around 80% of Israel's Christians, are Arabic-speaking and indigenous to the region. They are Christian Arabs who, after Israel's War of Independence in 1948, stayed inside Israel's new borders and became citizens of the new Jewish state. Christians in Israel enjoy the inherent advantages of living in a democratic, pluralistic society where they are guaranteed many rights and freedoms. The different religious communities are free to observe their own holy days and days of rest. They have freedom of worship and access to the holy places. Christians in Israel vote and are active in the political arena. They receive compulsory education and attend Israel's public universities. Israel's Christian Arabs are characterized by low levels of unemployment, even lower than the Jewish population, and high levels of education. They are generally middle class and live in urban areas. 70% of Israel's Christian Arabs are concentrated in the Galilee, chiefly Nazareth. Christians have been a permanent fixture of the religious landscape in the region for 2,000 years. From the preaching of Peter at Pentecost through the successive foreign occupations to present day in the Jewish state, Christians have shown enormous staying power in the Holy Land. Though the outlook for Christians in the rest of the Middle East seems bleak, Christians inside the borders of Israel are slowly growing. Christians in Israel who do not admit as much and publicly criticize the state at least acknowledge that they are only able to do so because they enjoy so many rights. One can only hope that one day Christian Arabs overcome the pressure exerted on them by their Muslim counterparts and come to appreciate their status as the Middle East's freest Christians. When tour guides bring Christians to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, they inevitably point out the ladder on the second-story window and the one-way lock on the church's doors. Christian groups, especially Protestant ones, blush from embarrassment at such petty examples of denominational dissension. But what they often do not appreciate is that the ladder and key have had such permanence because Christians are still there, still fighting and creating workarounds. When that wooden ladder rots, it is actually always replaced with a new one. And once a year, the largest denominations at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre submit an official request to win back the iron key. The ladder and key are symbols of stability that characterize the unbroken tradition of Christians living in the Holy Land. Shabbat Shalom.